Hello, beautiful being. Thank you so much for joining me today, and welcome to the Heart Coherence 101 mini course. My name is Sarah Harrington. I'll be your host and your guide through this experience. I am a radiant life coach, a massage therapist, and Reiki master. And so I like to use my knowledge of the body as well as the energy bodies to create radiance in my lives and the lives of those I serve. And so if you're here right now, that means that you are drawn to this energy as well. And so I want to applaud you for showing up for yourself today. And it is my intention that this Heart Coherence mini course assists you on your journey. And so in this mini course, the intention is that you will learn how to step away and recognize when we're having a spiraling out of thoughts up here, dropping down into the heart, into the sacral center, our creative center, and create heart coherence between our brains and our bodies. And so when I say the word heart coherence, what does that even mean? Well, allow me to explain. What that means is that our bodies are constantly communicating with itself, right? And our hearts and our minds have a deep and direct connection. And the really interesting thing about both the brain as well as the heart is that it has elasticity. They both have elasticity, they both have memory. And so what that means is when we can really expand our heart centers and tap into the energy of our heart, we actually create a memory and a pattern for energy to flow. And our hearts can actually expand physically in that space. And so what happens when we create heart coherence is that our hearts, as they send information to the brain and our brain sending information to the heart, it means that they're working in harmony and they're flowing together to create decision making, to create feelings, to create experience. And so what we're doing when we're creating heart coherence is we're tapping into the intuition and the knowledge of our heart center, because our hearts actually send more information to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. And so really, our hearts and our womb, our creative space, yes, men have wombs too, the sacral center is the seat of creation. And so when we tap into the intuition of these two energy centers, we can actually create more coherence and more balance in our minds and in our life and in our bodies. And so oftentimes, when we get caught up in the spiraling out of thoughts, the brain fog, the confusion, anxiety, any sort of unease that can become part of a trigger or become part of our daily mental habit, we enter into our fight or flight mode, and that's our sympathetic nervous system. And so when we're in our fight or flight mode, we're having cortisol being released. And basically, just to give you an understanding of how humans evolved, we evolved with the ego and we evolved with the sympathetic nervous system, which its intention is to keep us safe. To keep us safe from predators, from danger, from starvation, from being separated from the tribe, being outcast, all these different ancient practices that our ancestors had to actually deal with in order to stay alive. But now, in our current society, we can find ourselves in that sympathetic nervous system more often than not because of traffic, because of work, because of people we interact with, stress about money, stress about the future, stress about the past, so on and so forth. And so what we're doing when we're creating heart coherence is we are actually dropping out of the sympathetic nervous system, dropping into our bodies, into our hearts, into our intuition, and we're actually going to be connecting with our parasympathetic nervous system. And the parasympathetic nervous system is in charge of the rest and repair. It's in charge of stress relief, and it's in charge of deep relaxation and deep healing in the body. And so it's so important to tap into the parasympathetic nervous system whenever and wherever possible, because we do tend to live in a culture and a society and a world that it can be very triggering to be in. And not because you're specifically being triggered, but just because we have to constantly be on edge. We have to constantly be aware of our surroundings, of our life, social anxiety, so on and so forth. You get the picture. So the more that we can practice dropping into our parasympathetic nervous system, and the more that we can practice dropping into our heart's intuition, the easier it's going to be to get through life with ease, with joy, with gratitude, and with coming from the space and the seat of your intuition, from the perspective of your higher self, and with the radiance and love that your heart wants to expand into. So I am so excited that you're here. Please follow along with this video to learn how you can create heart coherence in your day-to-day life. And so if you follow along in the document that I've outlined, I'll basically be going through that process step by step in this video so that you always have a resource to come back to. And if you're more of a visual learner, you can have the worksheet to come back to. And if you like to watch videos, then you'll have this to come back to as well. So basically, what we do when we tap into heart coherence is it's a process, a 3-step process. And really what we're going to do is stop, observe, and drop in. And so when you start to notice yourself having thoughts or emotion that is causing you to spiral out, is that it's really easy to spiral out. And so what we want to do is start to catch those thoughts, and we're going to become the observer. And so what we're going to do is start to catch the thoughts as they start to trigger us. And we're going to start to reflect, is this really true? And when you start to notice yourself having these spiraling out thoughts, what I want you to do is stop, take a nice deep breath in, and out through the mouth. And we're going to start to take these deep breaths. So just follow along with me. We're going to do 3 more just like that. In through the nose, and out through the mouth. In through the nose, and out through the mouth. In through the nose. And on this last breath, just release through your mouth anything that doesn't serve any longer. And you should start to notice yourself already starting to feel more grounded and more present. And so the next step is going to be to set your intention. And we're going to set our intentions to drop from the mind and into the heart. And so I'm going to go ahead and close my eyes, and I recommend that you do the same. And what we're going to do is place a hand on the belly and a hand over the heart. And while we're practicing this breathing, the consistent, steady flow, we're going to drop our awareness from the chatter brain and down into the heart. It's simply a matter of setting the intention and allowing it to happen. And you know what to do. You know how to do this. Just remember and go. And now that we're in this space, what I want you to do is start to formulate your question. Is this really true? What information does my heart want to share with me today? What does my womb space, and yes, this goes for men, want me to know? How can I create vitality and transcend through this experience? Allow yourself to be receptive to the messages that come forward. And it might come as a vision, as a feeling, as words or a phrase. Just allow that energy to come into your awareness however it would like to, and trust whatever's coming forward. And so how can we tell if the information that we're receiving is from the ego, the mind, the part of ourself that's just simply trying to keep us safe, that's trying to protect us from danger? Sometimes the ego can be a little bit dramatic, a little bit fear-based. And how can we tell what's coming from the heart and from the womb, from the creative center? Well, it's really quite simple. Anything that makes you feel happy, excited, calm, joyful, loving, at peace, in serenity, trusting in the divine, grounded, any of those feelings that make you feel uplifted and supported, they're going to be coming from your intuition, and they're going to be coming from your heart and from your womb. Because our intuition will never, ever lead us astray. And so when the messages come forward and they make you feel good, you can trust that it is from your higher self. And if you ever receive a message or a vision or a feeling that's low vibration, fear, anxiety, doubt, worry, scarcity, anything that makes you feel icky or scared or on edge or anxious, that's a sign that it's coming from the ego, the lower self, the basic self, that is focused on survival. And there's nothing wrong with having those feelings come forward, because ultimately the goal of the ego is simply to protect. So what we want to do is let our ego know that we're safe. And you can repeat that either out loud or in your head. I am safe. I am safe to receive these messages. I am safe to connect with my higher self. And I am safe to move forward in the direction of my dreams. And then dropping in and asking, what is it that I need to know? How can I move forward effectively? What does my heart want to share with me? And what does my womb want me to create today? And remember to keep breathing through this experience. And you should notice a sense of calm, compassion for yourself, unconditional love, and radiance start to emanate from within. And so I've included at the bottom of the worksheet some journal prompts that will help you to connect with your heart center, with your womb center, your sacral center, your creative center. And it's going to connect you to both your higher self and your ego to understand what's ready to be released, what the subconscious is holding on to, and on top of that, what it is that we're calling in and what messages the heart wants us to hear. So please scroll down to the bottom of this worksheet to tap into the journal prompts and find which one or which ones feel the most aligned with you. And I recommend that before you do your journal exercise, that you spend a few minutes tapping into your heart coherence, creating that radiant space, and then allowing yourself to simply write whatever is coming forward. And if it's easier to do it on a computer, if you feel like it's easier for you to type, you can do it that way as well. Although I do recommend taking some time to actually physically write out your responses, because again, we're tapping into the body and we're allowing that energy to flow through our physical beings. And so we connect with that energy on a deeper level because it really cements it into our subconscious, because we're actually in the act of creating. And we're in the act of creation and destruction by releasing and getting our feelings and our emotions out into the physical. We then are able to release it. And so it's a really beautiful way to really take it from out of your mind, out of your body, put it into the physical, and release. And on the flip side of that, when we write our intentions and our manifestations with our physical hand, again, we're bringing it into the physical, we're bringing it into the body, we're cementing it into our subconscious's awareness, because we're witnessing ourselves create that which it is we desire. And so once it's been created, once it comes from an idea into the physical, into the body, into creation, then it's actually a real thing. It already exists. And so it just gives that much more energy and that much more power to that which we are calling in. So I hope that this heart coherence practice helps you on your journey. It's something you can come back to at any time. You can take 30 seconds, a minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, however long you want to spend in this space. If you need to tap into it multiple times a day, you can set an alarm on your phone to go off every hour to remind you to tap into your heart coherence. I also recommend doing it in the morning and before bed, because the more that we can really retrain our subconscious, the more that we can align our egos with the belief and the knowing and the trust that we are safe, that we're supported, and that all of our dreams are ready to manifest. It's simply a matter of aligning with them. So I love you so much. Thank you so much for watching. And I hope that this video and this worksheet and this exercise serve you on your path. And I look forward to connecting more in the future. Have a beautiful day. I love you. Mwah.